Okay. Oh my gosh. All right, we finally did it. We are live. Oh my god. This has been heck. This has been heck on earth. Hey folks, welcome to the Akil Patterson show. My name's Akil Big Unk Patterson here live on G Media, Gockstein Media. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. I am here today because one of my nephews sent me a text message, and I'm going to read you it. All right, I want you to know this came from a kid's heart. Now he's 20 years old, and he just had his first kid. And when you have your first kid, one of the things that people tell you is that, hey, I'm having my first kid. I'm really excited. Blah 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 blah. I can't wait to be a father. But then he says, I oh, where is it? Let's go. He says, but today he said, have you been following the trial of this woman who killed her kids? And I said, I didn't know. And I said, well, what kids are you talking about? He says, the trial of Lindsay Clancy. He says, apparently, Lindsay Clancy is a mother who sadly took the lives of her three children. I said, "Oh, that's awful. That's terrible. Tell me more." And he says to me, "Yeah, she took the lives of her three kids, and I don't know why." I said, "Oh, that's awful. That's terrible. That's awful. That's terrible. She took the lives of her three kids, and I don't know why." Now he's a first-time father, so everything he's telling me is because he's already freaking out about being a dad. 19, 20 years old, and he just couldn't imagine taking the life of one of his children. And I said, well, let me look into this a little bit and I'll be able to give you some feedback. So I dived down into it, and ultimately he says, what if I did that after the baby was born? And immediately I start to think, what if this woman, Lindsay Clancy, was a man? What if a man took the life of his own child? What would they say about him? What would they do to him? Would he stand a chance in court? And there's all these women. These women are standing on the corner, and they've got these signs, and they're standing with her. And I think there's a couple of things that are intersecting here, right? There's some mental health, yes, but there's justice, and that question is we don't want to ask. So tonight I want to talk about that case that is incredibly difficult, a conversation that is incredibly difficult. And before I say anything else, their names need to be said. Okay, their names need to be said. There was Cora, there was Dawson, and there was Kaylin. Cora, Dawson, and Kaylin are the lives of three innocent children that are no longer on this earth because their mother, Lindsay Clancy, took their lives. And now her defense is postpartum depression. Now, I know that there are many women who suffer from postpartum depression. And I know there are many women who would claim that they have been there before. And I know it is not something to tease with. But three children lost their lives. And whatever argument you want to have about mental health, criminal responsibility, gender, or the justice system, those children cannot be an afterthought. They can't be an afterthought. They're not something behind us. Cora, Dawson, and Kaylin. They are not afterthoughts. They are legit children who lost their lives. And yes, their lives matter. Their lives mattered. But tonight, the jury is considering what happened inside the mind of their mother, Lindsay Clancy. That's what the jury's looking at. Well, what was she feeling? What was she feeling? And the defense says she was suffering from severe postpartum psychosis and was not criminally responsible for what she did. She strangled 3 children. 3 children are not on this earth because this woman was suffering from postpartum depression. And I have empathy. Yeah, we have empathy for her. But the prosecution, they say she knew what she did. She knew what she was doing when it happened. She knew all well that she took the lives of her children when she strangled them. Not once, not twice, but 3 different times she strangled, putting her hands around her children and taking their lives. But I want to ask another question. What if Lindsay Clancy was a man? Just for 1 second, what if she was, for all intents and purposes, what if she was just another man? What then would we be saying? What would we be saying if this woman was a man? What are we going to say? What gets to be said if this is a man? And that got me thinking. That really got me thinking. What happens if it is a man? Do they get the same level of empathy and support? You know, we stand with Trey Vance, who brutalized his kids, who murdered his children. Do we say that? Are we going to say that? Do we get to say that? I don't know. Not because postpartum psychosis isn't real. I'm not saying that's not real. It is real. It is something that happens. Not because mental health shouldn't matter in a courtroom, because there are times that mental health does matter. It absolutely is part of the case. And not because the person experiencing genuine psychosis should automatically be treated exactly like somebody acting with a complete rational mind. Yeah, no, that's not it. That's not my argument. But would we be extending the same compassion and patience and willingness to understand mental illness if the parent sitting in the courtroom was the father? Would we be doing this? Would we be saying it's okay for you to go out there and put your hands around the necks of your children and take their lives if it was a man? Imagine the headline: Father kills his 3 young children and says severe mental illness caused him to do it. Because I could tell you right now, 6 months ago, a man burned down his house with his children in it. He's sitting behind bars, which he should be. A week ago, a young man burned down his house with 8 family members in it because they kicked him out. I'm not hearing the same level of compassion for that. But when you see a video with all these women standing in the street with signs, "We support Lindsay," What do you think goes through the minds of everyone else? What do you think they're thinking? Oh, I could get away with this. Maybe it's my time. You know what? I was a mother really young. I didn't want kids. There was a scene. There was a scene in the movie Train Spotting. If you've ever seen the movie Train Spotting, great movie. There was a scene where the mother is on drugs and their baby dies. And it's like welded in my mind. And you're like, man, all that the mother's like, oh, I was I was I was on drugs. Is that a defense? Oh, I wasn't in my right mind when I allowed my baby to get crushed, when I allowed my children to drown. Like all these things have happened in the past. And now we're saying, well, she had postpartum depression. And it's okay to let that go. No, 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 no. It is not okay to let that thing go. And my question is, why are there supporters? Why are there people at rallies with signs? Signs, signs. There are people at rallies with signs supporting this person. What are we doing, folks? And the people that are there, there's something mentally wrong with the people that are supporting her. I'm not even going to kid you. There is a psychosis. There is a level of psychosis that I would never want to see anyone have to go through. Just, I don't think there's any reason for this. Just absolutely mind blowing. Just mind blowing. How anyone could ever support someone intentionally harming their own child just doesn't make sense to me. Just doesn't. It's irrational. It's irrational. Here, look at this. Look at this. I'm gonna show you. Look at this thing. These are people at a rally. These people are in a rally saying that it shouldn't take tragedy for us to appreciate mental health. Are you freaking kidding me? Seriously, are you kidding me? That's what we're going with? These people? These people. I don't get it. Look at this. There is a whole mob of these people. This is sick. This is sick. Look, this is sick. These people are just they are insane. I don't understand it. I just I could not. I can't fathom this. I can't. I can't fathom it. Look at these people. Look at them. They're almost proud. They're proud. They are proud to be standing there. Look at them. Oh, look at me. I'm I'm gonna clap. Look at her. Look at this woman. Stand in peace with Lindsay. She needs to be standing in piss. I can't believe this. Look at them. These people are absolutely mentally insane. They should be criminally prosecuted for standing like this. Who does this? Who's standing with this woman? This is mental. These people in these groups should be in a prison, tucked away somewhere where there is a gaggle of them. Hundreds of people. Hundreds of people standing in a circle singing Kumbaya because a woman hurt her child. But yet, let a man do the same thing, and we're pulling out the pitchforks. I know we're pulling out the pitchforks. Father kills 3 young children and says severe mental illness caused him to do it. Would 1,000 people be discussing healthcare system failed him? Would we? Would we be discussing that? No. It's my belief we wouldn't. And the fact there aren't more people discussing this subject matter is beyond me. Beyond me. Would we be examining every doctor's visit that he had? Let me give you the statistics right now. Every year, nearly 800,000 men will be unalive by themselves. 800,000 men are unalive by themselves. Where was the cry for mental health then? But we're talking about Lindsay and how she needed mental health services. Her mother testified on stand and said she was a good mother. And she said if she needed help, I would have been there for her. Well, lady, your daughter killed your grandchildren. Do I think she's right in the head? Of course not. But she should be held legally responsible and accountable. Oh, but there was this one time in court and she was just crying. Yeah, let me just say this. A lot of people cry after they commit a crime. After the die's been cast, they want your please feel sorry for me. Crocodile tears is what we call them. Would people be talking about the medications he received if it was a dad? Would there be a national conversation about whether society failed to recognize a psychiatric crisis if this was a dad? Would they? Maybe, maybe, maybe they would be. But I don't think the public reaction would look the same. And there's research suggesting this isn't simply something people are imagining. It's not something I'm imagining. Let me just say this. There are studies examining parents who have killed or unalived their children have found differences between how mothers and fathers ultimately move through the criminal justice system, including findings that the fathers are more likely to end up incarcerated and mothers can receive less severe outcomes. I'm going to read that again. Studies have examining parents who have unalived their children have found the difference between how mothers and fathers ultimately move through the criminal justice systems. And the findings have seen that the fathers are more likely to end up incarcerated and the mothers can receive less severe outcomes. Now, that doesn't prove that Lindsay Clancy is receiving special treatment. I'm not thinking she is. It doesn't mean that every mother gets compensation or every father gets prison. Okay. Not every mother gets a compassion, not all. And not every father gets prison. But we've seen this before. We've seen this before. We have. And how our society forgets about it is beyond me. But it gives us a legitimate reason to ask whether gender influences how society sees if someone is sick or not. Who is sick? How does the world see? How does our society see who is sick and who's evil? That's a conversation I want to have because men suffer psychosis, especially right now. Men suffer depression because they don't get to talk about it. Because if they do, they are considered weak. If a man talks about what's going on in his life, he is considered weak. And that's not a good thing. Men suffer, but they suffer in silence. June was Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I didn't see one professional sports league stop it for a moment and say, hey, look, we need to talk about men's mental health. I saw pride flags, but I didn't see any men's mental health flags. Men suffer from depression. Men experience suicidal crises. Men experience nervous breakdowns. Men experience trauma. And far too often, the response to a struggling man isn't what happened to him. It's what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with him? But when a man's mental illness becomes ugly and frightening or difficult to understand, suddenly our language about compassion disappears. He was screaming at me. Well, did you ask him why? Because he could have given you 20 reasons why he was angry. He could have given you 50 reasons why he didn't come to you for help. But to take the life of his child, unacceptable. Just unacceptable. Accountability and compassion can exist in the exact same sentence. You were wrong what you did, but we also need to find out why you did it. So let's talk. And that should apply to Lindsay Clancy too. If she truly lacked criminal responsibility because of severe mental illness, the law will recognize that. But if the prosecution proves she remained criminally responsible, the law should recognize that too. You can have compassion and not just let her get away with unaliving someone. How hard is that? But if you are at a rally, again, look at these people. They are sitting in a community group circle, kumbaya, trying to pretend like this didn't happen. Just look at them. Look at all those people standing around in their pink shirts saying, well, something bad happened. Something bad happened. Sickening. Look at this. So many. What? What is she talking about? Thoughts and prayers. She needed help. Her children needed help. Look at this. I can't look at this anymore. This is just all right. I'm done watching these people. All right. To listen to these people pretend like this was and just some sort of act. She reached out. She said she was. Did she reach out to her family? Let me give you a story. There was a man I used to work for many years ago. He's a good man. I'll leave his name out. His wife suffered from postpartum depression. And what she asked of me, this is me. She asked me, some guy who worked for her husband, and she said, "Do you mind watching the kids while I go to the chiropractor?" I said, "Sure, no problem." And I watched her kids while she went to the chiropractor. At this point, I know that she didn't go to see a chiropractor. She went to go see someone else. She went to go see a friend, a therapist. And she would take these chiropractor visits and she'd go see a therapist, she'd go to the movies, and I'd be with the kids 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours. And then when she got back, she was better. That's it. That's how she was doing it. She has an ex-husband. She has a mother. All these things were at her disposal. Do you know how many people in America go without mental health services that might actually be crazy? Millions. 330 million adults in this country. They're not all strangling their kids. And the worst thing that occurred around all of this is that she thinks that she lives in a bubble. Ma'am, you don't. You don't. You don't live in a bubble. You don't. You are you are a mother, and I can appreciate you being a mother. I think most of us can empathize with what mothers go through. But to say that this mental health crisis crap is the reason why you took the lives of unalived your 3 children is absolutely unfathomable. Unfathomable. Justice simply cannot be about what makes you feel better emotionally. Let me say it again. Justice cannot simply be whatever makes you feel better emotionally. That's not the case. 3 babies, no longer on this earth, an infant, a newborn, and then like a 6-year old. And I'll tell you why I think this woman did it. All 3 children, you could be like, "Oh, I've heard and I've seen Some mothers who would cause a TBI, traumatic brain injury, to a toddler or a newborn by shaking him, right? And they, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Oh my God. 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 You can go look it up. Go look online. It happens. But 3 children, 3 babies. Oh, lady, you knew what that was. That 5, 6 year old would have snitched. Because a 5 and 6 year olds, they'll tell everybody what you did. And you knew it. You knew it. It is such a sad thing. Such a sad thing. But if we talk about men's mental health for just 30 seconds, if a man has a spool of yarn for just 6 minutes and he's holding on to it, what does he get? He gets the 3rd degree. What's that yarn for? I've had this yarn since I was 15, and it's for 30 years. I've used it, and I lost a piece of my life each time I did. And then she's like, "You're watching a basketball game, aren't you? You ever see that reel? Oh man, it's a sad reel. Let me see if I can find it for you guys. It's a sad reel. It's a real one though. Justice justice can't be about depending on whether the person standing before us is a mother or a father. We need to understand a lot and find that finding someone not criminally responsible does not necessarily mean that somebody simply walks out of the courtroom or goes home. There can still be secure psychiatric hospitalization and potentially years of confinement, involuntary confinement and treatment. This isn't a choice between compassion and punishment. It's not. It's not a question between compassion and punishment. The real question is, what does accountability look like when severe mental illness is ends with the most unimaginable crime? What does it look like? And there's that question that bothers me most. Would we would we question differently if Lindsay was a man? If Lindsay was Michael, what would we say? What would we say if Lindsay was Michael? Would we talk about it? Would there be hundreds of men wearing burgundy shirts standing outside the courtroom going, "Let Michael go"? No. We'd be like, "Get the rope." That's how far we've fallen as a society, as a nation. We have fallen from grace. Think about it. Jeffrey Epstein hurt hundreds of young women. Well, what if Jeffrey Epstein was just mentally ill? Doesn't matter. He should have been in jail. And most of us agree. Yeah, burn him. You don't see me siding with Jeffrey Epstein. All right, take him out. Rotten hell. Done deal. We're over it. But to see a sea of women wearing pink shirts, this is no different than those women who used to march on DC with these pink pussy hats. And I said it. It was weird. It was weird. There's something about that liberalness that I don't even understand. And David calls me a liberal. God knows I'm not. Never been a liberal. Makes me sick. It makes me sick. Come. Come here. Come, come, come. No, no, come, come, come to me. Come, come. It makes me sick. to my stomach to think that there were people standing in the street with signs talking to defend this person. If you answer yes to the question that we would be standing in front of, you got bigger issues than anybody can help you with. You are mentally ill. I think where I land on this is children are hurt. A mother is without her children, but crocodile tears, save those for St. Peter. You deserve the chair. Taking the life of an innocent child, 5, 6 years old, 18 months old. Yeah, you should get the chair. You should get the chair. I said it. Well, all right. That's enough about that. I just had to get it out. I had to get that out because when a nephew calls me and he's asking me questions and he wants to know, Unc, what do you think? And I got to say, yes, you are going to be a father. You are going to be a great father. And if you need anyone to step in, give me a holler. If you ever feel the need that your wife or your significant other or the lady you are with or your baby's mama ain't living up to the standards, then yo, give Uncle a call. I got you. I'll step in. But I had to tell him that. Instead of him just knowing that he can call me. You should be able to call any one of your homies like, bro, I'm dying here. I'm dying. I need some help, man. My kids are driving me crazy. I just need a couple hours. Okay, cool. I got you. My best friend sent me a text message tonight. He said, your niece wants to know, David. He says, your niece wants to know a question. And I thought it was hilarious. This is the question what my niece asked me because he was sitting around. Said, no, where is it? You got to go to the right one. My niece asked me, and I'll give you the quote. She says, this is a random question from your niece. What would your answer be? What is the song? What is the song that is about you? The song that best describes you? And her answer was Bulletproof by LaRue. And then his response was, mine is The Boss by James Brown. He says, what's yours? And I says, I Don't Want to Be by Gavin DeGraw. Which her reply then was, who's Gavin DeGraw? And I've never heard I Don't Want to Be. So I sent them the link to I Don't Want to Be by Gavin DeGraw. And if you've never heard Gavin DeGraw's I Don't Want to Be, it is the song from One Tree Hill. It was the early 2000s. And it goes, I don't want to be anything other than, I don't want to be anything other than what I was born to be, baby. All I want to do is think of me and have peace of mind. I'm tired of looking around who's going, what I got to do, or who I'm supposed to be. I don't want to be anything other than me. I don't want to be anything other than me. And I say that's the song that's about me. And if you are a young parent, and I'm always real with people, I don't have kids. I don't have kids. I'm not blessed to have kids. I'm just not. Doesn't mean I don't love my nieces and nephews. That's why I have a lot of nieces and nephews. You got to spend your money on somebody. And because I don't have I have nieces and nephews, I spend all my time making sure they're okay. That's what good family does. You entertain your nieces, you help your brothers out, you help your homies out. I mean, that's the part of family that America used to have. When David and I talk about things, we talk about family. We talk about our extended family, our personal families. We talk because that's important. Because there are very few people in this world you should be able to discuss your life with. Like I said, you don't have to be like me and be online and talk about your family all the time, but you should have people in your life that you can talk to. Because having a family ain't about just blood. I say it all the time. Just because somebody's black don't mean there's all skin folk ain't kinfolk. All black people don't believe in the same things I believe in. All white people don't believe in the same things that I believe in. Or Asians or Pakistanians or Dominicans. People, just because you look like me don't mean you believe in the same things that I will. But if you stick around long enough, you will have family. You will develop a community. And once you develop that community, you start to develop people you love, people you trust, people that will be there if you are having a bad freaking day. You saw me get online on Tuesday night with D. Watkins, HBO writer, Hulu executive producer of Hoops, Hopes, and Dreams. I know D. I was talking to him about, going to ballet recitals. A man who literally got shot. A man who would tell you, yeah, I used to hang out on the corner. But now he's hanging out in executive rooms because he surrounded himself with better people. But we don't surround ourselves with better people. This Lindsay lady couldn't surround herself with better people. She internal, kept it all inside. Insane. Absolutely insane. There was I was, I always tell everybody from Baltimore to Berlin is what I like to talk about. And I was traveling in Santiago de Compostela, part of the Camino. It's the end of the Camino. And if you know about the Camino, it is this long walk. It is over 700 kilometers that you go through a spiritual journey, right? And I didn't walk the whole thing, folks. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I'm not made for that, but maybe I will one day. But when you're walking the Camino, you're stopping in the villages and towns, and people are welcoming you into their homes, and you're getting food, and you're having conversations. And when you're in this Spanish world, you're eating. That's what you do. You eat dinner. You eat dinner at the end of the night. You're not going to walk through the night because it's dangerous. And you're eating, and you're breaking bread with people, and you're sharing your experiences. I will say this: if you know English, God bless you. God bless you. English has become like the default language of the world. And so a lot of countries, their kids, they learn English before, that's their second language. And as you're traveling on through the Camino and you're having these like small little towns and these villages and you're eating dinner with people, you start to build a new community. And I got a book, just a moleskin book. And if you don't know what a moleskin is, I normally keep it here on the desk, but I don't have it right now. But if you have a moleskin, they're very good journals to be using. And I'm writing in my journal, and I meet a group of people who had walked the whole Camino. And this woman tells me, she says, I saw you this morning at the church of Santiago de Compostela. I said, yeah, I saw you. I took your photo. She's like, yes, that's it. She's like, how far did you walk? I was honest with her. I said, Maybe 30 kilometers. She says, why did you not walk more? I said, I would have. I said, but I didn't mean to walk the Camino. And then she says, well, here's my email. When you come back to walk the Camino again, I will walk it with you. Oof. A moment, a moment, a moment in time, a moment to reflect. I was walking the Camino and I want to do it. I want to walk the full Camino. I think I'm not knowing is a good thing now that y'all round tripped. Hope you hold your side. I think I'm not knowing is a good thing. I'm pro death. I understand, but I don't. Do not say you're right. Saying you're right. Okay. Mentalism means they need more training to the DNA digital network assistant. I don't even know what that means. Yes, you're live. Thank you, David. I appreciate that. Yeah. I hate when they care more than me. Yeah. I think I think it's time that we as we start having better relationships, better community is what I truly want. I want better community. I don't think having a community is a bad thing. In the crypto world, let me give you an example. In the crypto world, David and I met in spaces. A lot of people think, Akil, you and David are so close. You guys must have grown up together. Nah, we met right on Twitter. We met right on X. That's how we met. During COVID, we're trading together, we're talking together. There were late nights in Discord and group chats, and we built community. We built community because there was nothing else. I mean, nobody had a community. And as you built that community, you started to recognize, hey man, I like this guy. Now I'm a little autistic, so it's easy for me to build community with myself and other people. Um, but man, when you sit down and you start having conversations with people, you get to really know them. The one of the former CEO here at G Media, Tammy. Tammy was the same way, and there was a girl who didn't like Tammy. I don't know if Tammy's gonna let me tell the story, but I don't care. Tammy knows that I'll say it anyway. There was a girl who didn't like Tammy, and Tammy is just the sweetest woman ever. And I tell this girl, I say, why don't you like Tammy? I just don't trust her. I don't know her. I said, you don't know any of us. Well, she just seems fake. I said, do you know this woman? She seems really sweet. We talk all night. We have great conversations. Eventually, Tammy and I met, and then we went to the University of Notre Dame. Took me to the stadium, took me around the cathedrals and the campus, and we talked and we walked and we had a great time because we built community. We built a moment to share our joy in our relationships. If you are not building a community with people you want to, then you are not doing yourself a service. You are doing yourself a disservice. Build a community of joy, of joy. I say it all the time. I say it all the time. Joy gets you through the hard times. You know what keeps you in the hard times? Pain. Pain keeps you in the hard times because pain begets more pain. Trauma begets more trauma. It's not where we want to live. We have to learn that we can build community based on joy. Pope Francis said it. I want you to be happy. I want you to be happy. Don't focus on the worldly things. Focus on the joyful things. I can get you rage baited all day. I can say some outlandish things. I mean, there's a lot of time I want to say some outlandish things. But if we start focusing on the joy that we have in this world, we can create a better society. I love food. So learn to break bread with people. A lot of black women would say the number one way to break somebody's anger down, put a good pot of stew in front of them. Ooh. If you're down in Louisiana, some gumbo gonna get you right. You know what used to make community, and a lot of you young heads won't know this, but there was a time where you could smoke in the bars, but a lot of people didn't like the smoking in the bars because it was just too much and it was just too smoky. So you would go outside and you'd huddle together because it was cold, and you'd share a cigarette. Shoot, I didn't even smoke, and I just wanted to be out there with those dudes. I used to take breaks at work when I was a teenager. I didn't even smoke because I just wanted to go hang out with those dudes. We had a bridge. It was called the Smoking Bridge. Literally, it was the Smoking Bridge. It was made out of wood. People would always try to light it on fire. I think it actually did burn down one day. But in high school, there was a bridge. It was a smoking bridge. And they would go to the bridge and they would smoke. People would take their time. One small drag, talk about something. Another small drag, talk about something else. I mean, that's what you did. It built community. And the more you built community, the more you started to recognize, hey, man, I like this dude. Or I like this girl. She's a friend. She's cool. People would say, oh, how could you hang out with the goth kid? I'm like, have you ever hung out with them? Yeah, they might wear black trench coats and black clothes and wear like funny eyeliner. But if you hung out with them, you'd realize they were really awesome. They built community. They learn to appreciate the person and not the looks of the person. I've got another podcast out that I love to talk about it. Dog to the I don't even know what that is. What is that? I don't even know what that crypto is. Whatever the crypto is. I don't even know what it is. If you want to talk about a good crypto, I'll give you a good crypto to talk about. I'll say it. I don't even care. It's called Omi. But I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna finish. You can't distract me. I got ADHD. Please stop. You can't do. Please do. For the love of God, if you all are like bombing me with cryptocurrencies that I don't know anything about, I would probably lose my mind. But there was there was a time when we built community by getting to know people. Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh-huh. How about Omi? How about that Omi token? Yeah, yeah. You want to talk about the woofs and the bow wows and the me 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 me? How about that Omi? How about the VV Digital Collectibles? Oh, it's okay. I'm sorry. It's okay. I don't know what it is, but do you know about Omi? Do you know about the VV? Do you know about the cryptocurrency? You know what? All right, now I'm going to have to show you all because nobody wanted to talk about this. But I'm going to show you all that there is a cryptocurrency, a company, a real company being built as we speak. And it is by far going to be the most impressive thing you've ever seen. We talk about interoperability. We talk about crypto becoming mainstream? Yes. This company, this crypto, this asset is going mainstream like never before. It is going to revolutionize the entire world. All right. And all you got to do, it was recently announced, maybe earlier this week, and we're going to show you all what it is. Here we go. All right. Here we go. The Vivi digital collectible platform. The digital collectible platform Vivi is set to become publicly listed through a definitive acquisition agreement through Orange Cloud in August of 2026. Alternatively, if you meant the financial ticker Vivi, Vanguard, which I didn't, but see, this is why you've got to watch it. This thing is happening. This is real. This is real. This is a real thing that's happening right now. And I am not making this up. This is happening. Oops. Oh, 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 sharing the wrong thing. Stop. I don't want to share that one. Allow to share the screen. We're going to pick this one. Here it is. Here we go. This is it. This is it. Almost. What is going on? Can you guys see that? All right. I keep. I'm just trying to share. This shows you how terrible I am at certain things. I'm just trying to share the one screen that will show you the VV is a digital collectible. Yeah. So it's VV. It's called OMI and the digital collectible, but the OMI token is powered by it. Now, so this thing is a legit thing. It's I'm just gonna share the window. That's not the window I'm gonna share. Where are we going? All right. Here we go. This token, share this window. Okay, cool. So I'm sharing that one. So if you'll see that this digital asset, basically there was an acquisition here, and I'm trying to get rid of this. I don't even know how to get rid of these things, but God. All right, here we go. So this is on an investing .com, but they'll talk about it. Orange Cloud to acquire VV operator and rename the company. So VV is a digital collectible app, right? It's on my phone. I have it. You don't believe me? Oh. Thanks, David. The app is VV, and so this is the app, right? This is the app. It's VV, and it's got things like Phoenix Fire. It's got Marvel, Star Wars, DC Direct. It's got Disney. Like these are all the things that are on this app. You can go download it if you want, but it's called Vivi. And this company, so Orange Cloud is to acquire Vivi operator. But here's the thing: it's a reverse acquisition. Orange Cloud is going away, and they are currently listed on the stock market, on the NASDAQ. And so I'm just going to read you a little bit. So the Singapore Orange Cloud Technology Incorporated on NASDAQ's ORKT